Hey guys, welcome to the Courtney Fletcher podcast, eCom Babes podcast with Miles and Krista. We are here in Miami. This is actually only our second podcast ever, our second time doing a podcast. Miles and I came the other day and we had a lot of fun. It's actually
really fun.
Yeah, it's a lot more chill than I thought, but we are definitely excited because throughout the next couple hours, we're going to be doing a couple interviews like this, or not really interviews, just conversations with some women that we have in Miami. Beautiful Krista being one of them. Krista is one of our fellow eCom Babe sisters. She's part of our community. She started, well, I'll let you kind of talk about your story more, but she is part of our 100K Babe Club. She's done over $100,000 in e-commerce sales, and she is just killing it, and she's awesome. So first off, thank you for coming down here and coming to Miami. She's all the way from where you're
Cleveland.
From Cleveland, right? I forget you're Cincinnati. She's
fellow
Cleveland.
Ohio gal.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So talk to us a little bit about you, like in your background and what got you into e-commerce, into eCom Babes. Just more about your story.
Absolutely. So my background, basically, I feel like it's pretty, normal. Go to school. I definitely went to college, and it definitely wasn't when I was in college or even in high school where I even thought of having a business. I mean, my point of view, it was just narrow because I think of owning a business more so for like brick and mortar, that type of thing. But I never really thought about, hey, you can just do this online. You can get a vendor or something like that, and you can basically cut out all the hard work and do it yourself through drop shipping. But I really got privy to drop shipping. The first time I ever heard the term was when I actually worked for a label factory. I tried my hand in cold calling with sales, which was horrible.
I hate
but
that.
yeah,
That's
it was
so
the
bad.
worst thing ever. I'm a marketer. I'm not a saleswoman. But definitely it never really registered to me even then. But it was definitely an idea that we did. We used to like drop ship labels, shipping labels for different businesses that were selling shipping labels. So I believe maybe a year after that, COVID had hit. Yeah. So I was thinking, I had been seeing ads as well. And I was like, I could do drop shipping for jewelry. It just rang on me. And I chose jewelry because me and my grandmother, we love jewelry so much. We used to make jewelry together. And that used to always be like her little gifts to me, just showing up with just sparkly jewelry. I love everything blue.
Which you can tell by the way you're very, like, all your jewelry looks great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I love it.
But yeah, I got the idea. I was like, I'm going to do my jewelry business. And I worked on it so hard. Oh my gosh. Usually, at first I was just using YouTube for a while to basically get all of my tips and stuff like that. And then I came across eCom Babes. I saw your ad. And I believe I joined... Did I join 6 months or 3 months in? Or was I? No, actually, I'm getting time confused. I joined a year in, I believe. Yeah. And then it was 2 years post then. Okay. Yeah. So I joined a year into the business, but I had been drop shipping for a while and just trying to get my footing in marketing and stuff like that. But I saw your ad and I definitely felt like it could give me a push in the right direction, and it definitely did. I'm happy that I trusted you with that. And,
that's awesome.
I always wonder, like, why people choose Courtney, because I know I started as a student too. I chose Courtney to be my mentor for e-commerce and growing my business and becoming an entrepreneur. But like, what was it about Courtney that kind of drew you into this program that made you feel like, hey, that's the girl for me? Like, I want to be a part of this.
I feel like how tailored her ad was for me. You know, that you mentioned jewelry specifically. Yeah. So I was like, okay, she must, specialize in this in some way. So it definitely made me want to choose her because, she has a background in it.
Yeah. And it's different. Like I think just connecting with women is just different than, for me at least, I feel like if I was now a student and I was interested in something like this and I saw Miles, I would feel more drawn to that naturally because it's a very like intimidating space to be in. I know for me, just like being around so many men in the Facebook groups with the men, and it just makes like, it's a whole different environment.
Sorry, Liam.
Yeah. It's just intimidating for sure. But I'm curious too, because I think a lot of people really struggle with the idea of like starting a business when they have a life going on. And so what did that look like for you? Were you working your job? Did you have a social life? Like, how did you manage to do what you were doing, then also start this jewelry business?
So for the majority of the time that I have been drop shipping, I've had work from home jobs. So with that, I could basically multitask. I'm not supposed to, but I do. Yeah, and just multitask both of them. As far as like a social life and just managing everything, I feel like it's on and off, because most of the time I'm also a bit of a homebody as well. So I guess I'll go out like maybe once a month or something like that, or we'll just go hang out maybe at a bar with my friends or something. But social life, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's also not really a big priority to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How do your friends and family like feel about that? Did you ever get any like negativity, like, girl, we want to hang out with you, but you're busy? Like, do you ever feel like sometimes joining the community or having other like-minded women like helped you with the process of getting your business up and running, being okay with not going out all the time, like
absolutely
all that stuff?
And definitely the group, it gives you like somewhere to go so that you can read posts about things that you do relate to, you know, right, and people that are going through similar experiences and stuff like that. But I definitely had my friends and some of my family like, hey, you haven't came downstairs. Like, what are you doing? Like,
where are you?
Yeah. Or just my friends, like, I haven't heard from you in a few weeks or something like that. So I definitely, they've definitely felt that way. And I basically just navigated. I explained myself, like, hey, this is what I'm passionate about right now. This is where my focus is.
Yeah.
You know? And then like if they understand it, then they do.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they don't.
And like, I can tell you're really passionate, which is really cool. So I'm excited about where you're going to take this thing. So I'm sure anyone that's listening or watching is probably curious, like what your sales have been so far and where you plan to go, like where you want to take this thing to. So if you could touch on that and your vision, that would be really awesome.
Absolutely. So right now, my sales for the first 2 years, it took me 2 years to get to $100,000. But this year has really been a change. Like I've just seen the growth.
Backtrack. So to hit the 100K, you were working your job.
Correct.
Okay, so it was like very part-time.
No, I was still full-time.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm saying part-time with your business.
With the business?
She's stacking. She said she's working them both full-time.
Wait, okay, so
she's hustling.
That's impressive. 100K while working a full-time job.
Yes, and then because I was still selling, I didn't have a choice. I mean, you know, with drop shipping, it can be simple if you're not putting the work into your advertising and just the little thing to go with it, like updating your website, adding new products and stuff. I could just log in and, you know, send them the products, order the products, reply to customer emails, and that be it. But I take the extra mile to actually put in more time into it because I want to see it grow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I do have a question. Like, I know some people they always want the quick fix. They want to make 100K in the first month, 2 months. What would you say to somebody who's like, oh my God, it took you 2 years? Like, I feel like people don't understand that to build a business that's going to like make generational wealth, actually change your life, it does take time.
Right. I would say easy come, easy go, because it does happen and you will get to that point, but there's always going to be a fall. Like you're not going to do that. Or well, you could. I'm not going to be dying, right? But there's peaks and there's valleys with it. There's going to be good times. There's going to be bad times. That just comes with business. It's about how you get up from it and if you're resilient enough to keep moving forward with it. Right. Because if you let a bad month get you down, I mean, for me, I take it like to stay resilient. I don't have a choice but to stay resilient because I'm invested at this point, you know, completely invested. So you have to get completely invested in what you're doing and be completely passionate about what you're doing so that you don't get distracted by negativity.
Yeah. What is your vision? Like, where do you see this going?
huge. I see Muse Custom Jewelry. Hopefully it'll be like a Claire's or something one day.
Love that.
But yeah, I want to take it as far as I can take it and definitely hit that 7-figure mark. I'm still working on it, but from the 100K, fast forward now, I'm almost at 100K. I know this holiday season is going to be huge. Yes. So I'm so excited for that. I think I'm probably going to hit 100K this year by November, hopefully.
That's
Black
fantastic.
Friday. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I just love your passion, and it's like there's certain people that come into eCom Babes, and everyone that starts a business or joins eCom Babes or whatever like has the same opportunity. But I feel like there's people that definitely you can see a certain fire.
Yeah, I can feel it like coming off you, like the energy and the excitement,
you're like radiating.
Yes,
thank you so much.
I'm like seeing you on like Forbes in a couple years in your jewelry brand.
In my blazer.
Yep,
that's exciting.
Yeah. Cool. I do have a question. So you're drop shipping.
Yes.
And I feel like there's like this really bad connotation around drop shipping. Mm-hmm. And so often we see students actually get like paralyzed and stuck because they don't feel confident drop shipping. Mm-hmm. I'd love to like learn a little bit more about your experience, how you feel about drop shipping, whether or not you have custom packaging. I know that's like one thing that our students literally like they get so wound up with, I need custom packaging, custom inserts, whatever.
No, you don't.
Okay, yeah, tell us.
So for me, I feel like people, they're in their heads a lot about things, you know? So for me, and just understanding like how bigger businesses drop ship as well, and also understanding that a lot of people don't know about drop shipping. Right. And I feel like we just assume that people are going to know that you're drop shipping, which they may know, but they may not at the same time.
Right.
So, and whether they do,
it's just part of the business.
Yeah, it's a part of the business.
That's what everybody does.
Yeah, especially bigger businesses. And it's just like, I feel like people, they become scared because they're afraid people won't buy from them because they know that they've marked something up or something like that. Right. But they think that people are going to think they're scamming them or whatever. Right. But if you don't want to get quote unquote scammed, then just stay at home. Like grow your own vegetables, grow everything. Yep. Just do it yourself.
Yeah, that's such a good point. At the end of the day, people, everything, like unless you're going to the farm and picking the bananas yourself, like everything is going to be marked up in a sense. And if you have good intentions behind your business and you have purpose and you have passion, and a lot of times people will pull like nonprofit into their work and things like that, and so much good can come out of starting a brand. And even if someone's not doing nonprofit, just having like someone like you who's becoming this like empowering female that can inspire other people, like so much good can come out of these types of things, and people get so stuck on like these tiny details that don't really matter. And it's such a like a lack mindset, a scarcity type of mindset. I love what you said about, you're like, just get out of your own head. Because we have that all the time. Like people create hypotheticals and they're like creating these scenarios that haven't even happened yet. And it's like, why don't you just start and figure it out as you go, which seems like what you have done.
Yeah, I really had to check myself on that because it's rooted in caring what other people think. Right. You know, and not that you shouldn't care about what your customers think. You should definitely take that feedback. But about like your business as a whole, as your business model, if it's working for you, you shouldn't care what other people think about it, you know? So, and it definitely works. It still works. And I feel like that's also something that gets misconstrued, that drop shipping won't work. You know, it definitely still does.
I mean, Target drop ships, Walmart drop ships, like Amazon is like drop shipping. Nordstrom. It's the same thing. Right. Nordstrom.
Shein is basically AliExpress.
It is AliExpress. Okay, so just to clarify, you are going to be over $100,000 this year. You made $100,000 in the past 2 years. Do you have custom packaging?
No, ma'am. Oh, I forgot that part. Not at all. I actually, I had put you guys stuff in a box. I had one left over.
I should have brought it. So cute.
I gave Courtney my last box. It was like, it's a custom box.
Where's the box?
Packaging. I didn't give it to you yet.
Oh, yeah. I was like, hey, you gave me a box?
You're getting it soon.
It was literally my last one. But I usually, I mean, for custom packaging, I mean, they're already going to have the product. They're
going to throw it away, right? Yeah. It's going to go right in the trash.
I've never kept a business. Every time somebody gives me a business card, I just think, you just wasted a tree for what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to look at this again.
Yep.
So, for me, custom packaging, when it comes, it'll come.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't rush the process. And then I'm not as involved in it. I don't know. I can't worry about things that I can't control at the end of the day. Yeah. I can try to reach out to them and be like, hey, do you have like a salmon colored box or maybe a white box that you can put it in or something? You can try to brand it a bit so it doesn't look like it just came in like a brown paper box or something. But at the same time,
it's part of the process.
It's a part of the, yeah.
And as long as like the product that they're purchasing is high quality, cool,
right,
what they want, like what they expected, they're not going to care about what it arrived in because they're not going to wear a box around their neck.
Exactly.
Like, they're going to be wearing the necklace.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, just having the vision of, like you brought it up, it's just part of the process. Like this isn't the end all be all, right? Yeah. Unless you want to pour $50,000 into a business and buy all this packaging and like just do all of this crazy stuff from the jump, which most people cannot do that. That's not really realistic. Then there has to be a little bit of give and take. There has to be a little bit of a pivot here and there, and just knowing that it's not the end all be all. Yep. When you are on the Forbes list and you have this massive company, I'm sure at that point you will have custom packaging. You'll probably have overnight shipping. Yeah. You'll have a sweet warehouse somewhere in New York or LA. It's part of the process. You have to get there. I mean,
doesn't happen overnight.
No, exactly. I saw this thing, Jeff Bezos, he at one point they used to have to wear like knee pads because their packaging system was so bad that they like didn't even have the resources to properly package orders. So their like employees would literally have knee pads on, and they were like on the ground.
Horrible.
Yeah. And it's like, it wasn't like abusive or anything, but it was just like some of the people in the beginning were like, that was part of our journey. Like we had to work our way here, and it's also awesome. Like to look back and have that be a part of your journey is really exciting. So yeah, you definitely like reminded me of that story. Just trust the process. You're going to get there. It's part of the journey. And who would want to just start and be at the top? Like that's boring.
Right.
You know, you want to go through the stages.
Also, it's like really, really, really overwhelming. Like, could you imagine actually like making $100,000 in your first month? You wouldn't know what to do. You don't even at that point understand the tools that you're using to get there.
Exactly.
It would be extremely overwhelming. And
yeah, a lot of times, some people don't even know what they're asking for.
Exactly. Yep.
Like that would be, especially on one person, because most of the people in the group, if you don't have like maybe a partner in crime, it's usually just one person doing it, you know? So, and then especially, I can even imagine $100K in 1 month, how that customer service email would look. You know,
oh my gosh. It would be horrible.
Yeah, you would probably have to quit your job and then hope that you make the same or close to the same next month. Or, you know, something around there. But that is just,
yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that. No. Especially packing and shipping all of that stuff.
All of that.
Yeah, there have to be baby steps.
Yeah. I did custom, that I had got the box for you. I did it like last Black Friday. I only did 20 orders. Horrible.
Miserable.
Yeah.
People don't realize that you have, like, if you're holding inventory, you need to pack, print out the labels, put it in the things, and then you have to physically drive it to the post office, or you have to have the, you know, wherewithal to schedule UPS to come pick it up from you, all of which are miserable.
Yeah, people like want to do that stuff.
It's terrible. And then you're responsible if something goes missing, right? Because I had once, I did that before. I had 18 packages go missing in one round.
I remember that.
It was over $1,000 worth of inventory. Not only was I out all that money, I had to do it again.
Right.
It was like so miserable.
I think it's just the idea of like you go on Pinterest and you see girls with like their cute
it's
little
aesthetic.
warehouse.
Yeah.
Yes, but when you're in it, you're like, this sucks. Like I don't want to put another shipping label on it. Don't want to mail this out.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I feel like that's the primary reason a lot of people really want to do that or want custom packaging and want to keep all of their inventory so they can take their cute picture, you know?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's so true. And I think that really does speak to like the social media stuff that we've been talking about so much. Like, often on social media, people are sharing the highest moments of their life, the best moments of their life, but also you don't know if that's real.
Exactly.
You don't know if that's staged. All of those packages literally could be stuffed with nothing.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't know, and you can't take that at face value.
Right.
And you don't see all of the nights that they're probably stressed and crying and doing whatever they're doing in their house that isn't caught on Instagram or they're putting on their stories. And I think it's so right.
Yeah. I think something that I would like to talk to you about is you obviously are like you have entrepreneurial energy. You embody that like badass energy. And I know most of us aren't born with that. You know, maybe you were, like you could have been. But I know for me, like, it's like I had that mental shift into like this financial survival to like abundance entrepreneur. So can you talk a little bit about your personal journey? Like, are you the same person you were a couple of years ago? And like, what does that, like, how have you transformed, and what has been part of which has helped you transform?
Definitely. I definitely feel like it has been a journey for me in just changing my mindset and just seeing myself for all of my potential, you know, because I feel like we sell ourselves short sometimes, or a lot of the time, and you think that you can't do as good as what you really can, or you can't go longer. You're not as strong as you really are. So I definitely just had to take the time and do self-reflection. Definitely you actually opened me up to affirmations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So doing the affirmations, what else? Oh, and just becoming more at peace just for my own mental state, because with business, there's just so much going on. It's hard to keep up, or not hard, but it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. To just even think about it all, it can get overwhelming. So just being able to come back to a place of just stillness. That was, and also a book that I really liked. It's just called Stillness Speaks by Eckhart Tolle. That really changed my life, and just knowing how to come back to a place where
You're like centered.
yes, centered, and not to overthink.
Yeah.
And just to realize that thoughts are meaningless. You know, I feel like people always get caught up in a thought or other people's, what they think, and they put so much behind it, you know? And it's literally nothing. It doesn't even exist. You can't even see it, you know?
We've been talking about this a lot, I feel like, on this
We
trip.
have been talking about that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, we always think, oh, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? What are they going to talk about to their friends? And I think one thing that we forget is that people have their own lives.
Yeah.
They're probably thinking much less about us than we think that they
yeah.
are.
And
like,
that's isn't that ironic? It's like the selfishness in it too. Everybody is just a bit selfish. And when you just realize that you're not the center of attention, and it also takes some humbling as well. Definitely. Although you may think like just self-consciousness, I feel like people, that's what overtakes them. But once you realize like, hey, the world is so big, you know, you're one person in this world. Don't don't overthink and just do it.
Don't limit yourself.
Yeah.
I think that you sound like you've really done a good job with like your mental health. Definitely. And I think that is something, if you could, I don't know, maybe there's some more advice you have, because I think that this is something a lot of women talk about. Like, they'll message me or they'll ask on my Q&As, and like two things I see a lot. One is like they feel this lack of like motivation, and I think that's almost like a deep-seated like depression in a sense. So there's that, and then also just like overwhelm and anxiety of like trying to have a business and like making something of yourself, but having a job, maybe having kids or a dog. And like, we were actually talking about this in the pool yesterday. We were all talking. I'm like, wait, you were there. We were all like, when we were talking about how, well, I think me and Sydney were talking about it like together a little bit longer, where we're just like, sometimes you literally feel so anxious and like stressed out and at max capacity. And this is something that I've been hearing from a lot of women entrepreneurs, especially just like as I've realized it can be a little bit of a problem in my own life. And then I've opened up to people and I'm like, wow, this is like a really big problem for a lot of people. So you kind of seem like you maybe have it under control. So can you touch on that a little bit more?
I'd say if you're lacking motivation, I don't think they're as invested because I don't have, for me, it isn't another choice. You know, if this is really something that you want to do, then you have to completely invest yourself in it, you know? And that's how I keep my motivation.
I also think with that, like, you chose a niche that you are passionate about. You enjoy.
That's another
It's something
thing
that, like, you really love and you've always loved. And I think so often people choose these niches that have nothing to do with them. Like, I first started when I was first a student in eCom Babes, I started a baby store. Okay? I don't have a baby. I don't know a baby. Like, I have not been around babies for years at that point. I just gotten out of college. Why would I choose a baby store? It makes no sense. So, like, choosing something that you can get hyped about and, like, build because you're passionate about that thing. You know about the community. You're part of the community. Right. I think makes it so much easier to keep yourself motivated.
Absolutely.
And I think just being excited in general. Like, I'm always like, if you're not excited, get on Pinterest. Like, figure out what you want to do with your life. Get some goals going on. So I think... I think that just comes down to excitement. But I'm curious about the anxiety. So, like, it doesn't sound like you experience this too much. Oh, you do? Okay. So, this is a topic that, like, not enough people talk about. And I would love to know what you do to help tackle that anxiety. Because a lot of women are talking about this these days.
Yes. So, for me, I feel like I get really anxious if because it's a reverse. If I don't do the work or if I'm slacking or something like that, or, I say just slacking. I get very anxious if I feel like I'm not performing to the standard that I've set for myself, you know? So for me, to eliminate my anxiety, it's always doing, catching up, first of all, taking that time and reiterating to myself my affirmations, because just because you may fall behind, that doesn't mean, I was like, I suck, you know, but
it's not all or nothing. Like,
right, you know,
like you said, there are peaks and there are valleys.
Exactly.
I think how you talk about, like, the stillness and stuff probably has
absolutely
plays a
that
role
as
in
well. Just coming back and just coming to a point of just like stillness, literally. Like I feel like for me, or all of us, we're all business owners, right? We all get all of these labels put on us. But we never take out time to just be a human. Yeah. You know, just chill. What do you hear around you? What are you seeing? Or what are you taking in? Stuff like that. And just,
recentering yourself.
Yes, recentering yourself and being present, you know. So much we're into our devices and we're into all of these different things that are just consuming our attention. But you have to bring yourself back to a place of presence and to really eliminate anxiety.
Exactly. And you have to find something that does that for you. And I think I told you, and we were talking about this because you're a reader.
Yes.
She's a reader. And so I was telling her I just got a Kindle for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Changed my life because never before have I been able to force myself to not look at a screen, to not be watching TV or on my phone or whatever, and just take that moment to like meditate. Like that is my meditation time, is just being on my Kindle and reading. And you have to find something that you enjoy doing to get recentered. Put your feet on the ground, put your toes in the grass, get out of your head.
Yep. And it goes back to just being in your head. That's crazy. And just getting away from those thoughts.
So since you are a reader, do you have any other books that you recommend that you think really helped?
You know what? I've been reading Hustle Harder by Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent. I love that book. Yeah, I'm still getting through it. But that's definitely one that I recommend.
Awesome. I don't think I read that one.
I've definitely not read that. I have to start reading more of like, I don't know if those are self-help books, but like motivational books. I need to get more into that.
Yeah. But especially coming from him, because he like tells the story in a way where he uses his own experiences, and then he's like, this is what you can learn from it.
Yeah. That's great.
That's cool.
Really real.
Yeah.
I have another question actually. So I'd love for like, so many people think, again, that they're going to be making all of this money right away. and that they're going to quit their jobs immediately. Now, you're still working
Yes.
your full-time job.
Yes.
I'd love to know, like, your thought process on when you think you'll quit that job. Like, how long do you think you're going to continue doing both? Is it awful doing both? Or, like, you know, how do you feel about the fact that you haven't quit? Because I feel like so many people will just be like, oh my God, I'm going to quit my job as soon as I make X, Y, Z. But they don't really realize that you really do need to set yourself a really solid foundation before making that
Absolutely.
big choice.
Yeah, and like you said, you really need to be solidified. But for me, I don't know. It's just been hard for me to put all of my eggs in one basket. I feel like I would be more comfortable because I guess I could put all my eggs in that basket, but if Shopify goes down tomorrow, what am I gonna do?
Right.
If my Instagram page gets deleted, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
You know? So I keep my job just so that I have that cushion just in case something happens, because just with social media, everything is crazy. You know, anything could change just like that. So that but at first, definitely, because you need to be able to fund it, you know. So definitely keeping that until you funded it to a point where you can excel. I feel like I guess you could, but I would stress to just, I don't know, but that's just for me.
I think
I feel like people do things differently.
People can relate to that though.
Yeah.
Because I think making that decision to put all your eggs in one basket is really scary.
Yeah.
And it is very smart to diversify your time, your energy, where your finances are coming from. Because you're right, like anything could happen. And like being an entrepreneur means finding a solution no matter what, of course, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
Like if you go from making however much money a month and then all of a sudden there's 1 month where you're making zero, that's going to be huge to navigate and figure out how to make all those. And then take time.
It's also getting out of my own way, I feel like, because I feel like I've still been indoctrinated in that mindset where, you know, you go to college, you get your degree, you get a job and stuff like that. So I feel like part of me doesn't want my degree to go to waste too. And then, even though it's not like directly in it, but you know what I mean.
You're still using it though.
Yeah, you know. But two, it's it's the job itself. Like the job I have right now, I really like. They treat me so nice. It's the best job I've ever had.
Well, that's a different scenario.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
But at the same time, I make more drop shipping. That's the thing. Like to me, my job right now is a stipend for real. That's how I think of it. Like I spend more on marketing, you know,
and you like it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I right now they've treated me well to the point where I'd feel stupid to leave.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have to get out of my own way and just thinking like a job is somewhere I have to have my cushion, because that cushion can come from another stream of income. Yeah. So I feel like I'd feel comfortable quitting, and I've been working on that, like trying to maybe find something different to do that can make another stream. But for me, it would definitely be diversifying my streams of income to where I'd feel comfortable in just being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe another store.
Yeah. That's another thing that, and I tried to start another store, but I took for granted the process, and it's almost like I forgot, like, hey, you're gonna have to really grind it out with this, and it's gonna take a while. Like it's not, you had to build up Muse Custom Jewelry. It didn't just start like that, you know. So
I say you can get a cushion from, like, when you do quit your job. I think that the cushion, it doesn't have to necessarily even come from another source of income. If you just do a really good job of like putting 100% of your focus into this business and growing that business, it's like a magnifying glass. Whatever you're focusing on grows, and that savings account will become your cushion. And I think another thing that you said, which is maybe someone listening has felt this way too about the college degree, so maybe this will help you. I don't know. It's helped me. I dropped out of college, but I was like $40,000 in student loan debt, and I didn't even use it, you know? So I definitely felt a little bit like bad about that for a while. It was just like it was a mental block. And And I felt even when I was in school, I was like, maybe I should just finish because like I like already spent the money. But the thing is, life is so short, and every single piece of your energy and time should be going into something that you truly love and you're passionate about and you believe in. And if you, not specifically you, but just a person, like if you're spending your energy in the wrong place, you're like stealing from yourself essentially more. And with the college thing, like you did, maybe you're not using that degree, but you got something out of it. For me, like I didn't use that degree, but that investment, I have amazing memories. I have amazing friends. I was in the right place at the right time. Going to that school positioned me to do this, which led to eCom babes. And I believe the same for you. Like if you didn't go there, things wouldn't have lined up. So that investment, although you're not using it in a sense, you needed that to be where you are.
Definitely.
And I think that really helped me. It just was like, all right, it wasn't that much of a waste of money.
Right.
Just part of your journey.
Absolutely. Like you never know what, and also just being in college, that whole thing is an experience in itself.
Yeah, I think there is something to be said about just that experience and being around different people, learning about different cultures that you might not have experienced when you were growing up, putting yourself out there, being thrown on a campus where you might not know anybody. Yeah. All those skills, those networking skills, those talking skills, all that comes into play when you are an entrepreneur. You have to be, engaged.
That's true.
Yeah.
I want to wrap it up with this question that I actually heard a couple years ago, and I think it's a really cool question. So let's say you are in an elevator. You have a 30-second elevator ride, and you get in there with some random woman that you don't know. It shuts, just the two of you, and she asks you, Krista, what is the best piece of advice that you have for me in my life and just being able to live the best life possible? What would you say? You have 30 seconds.
Get out of your own way. You'll be your biggest enemy, and you're going to be your biggest obstacle with anything that you do in life. So definitely just getting out of your own way, staying out of your head, and going for it, having that drive, finding that passion, investing yourself in something that you love.
Awesome.
I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah.
Well, this has been super fun.
Yeah.
You are such a natural on camera, and you're so good. You had a lot of golden nuggets. So I'm really excited for people to hear this and hear your story and just see where you go. I think you're going big places.
Thank you.
I'm so
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we love having you here. It's so much fun.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.